Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Rajesh, I want to know little bit detail about this. So I'll just cover this one. So before that, cloud also we have it, which is hosted by the PagerDuty, and you can access it. And you have some free trial also, which you can get it and use to it. Okay, so one more thing, Rundeck Enterprise was recently renamed from Enterprise to Pro. Okay, so nowadays if someone says, "Hey, I'm using Rundeck Pro," or someone is saying, "I'm using Enterprise Rundeck Enterprise," both are basically same. So latest release, what they are doing, they are marking as a Pro. Okay, so this is the one. So now, what are the difference between the community version of Rundeck and enterprise version? So yes, enterprise support you have only with the enterprise version, not with the community. So you can run with your own risk. Okay, though it's very stable, by the way. High availability is missing in the community. Failed job resume is missing. Node health check is missing. Auto takeover is missing. Retry failed nodes is missing. System reports is missing in community. Single sign-on authentication is missing. Certified enterprise plugins is missing. Advanced webhook is missing. Scalability, load balancing, workload, and job queuing is missing in community one. Visualization of workflow is missing. Rule set workflow strategy plugins is missing. GUI-based ACLs are missing. Configuration management is missing. Job independent scheduling is missing. Blackout calendaring is missing. Schedule forecast visualization is missing. Missed job files is missing. So these are the features which is missing in a community, but you can find in the enterprise. Again, enterprise is the period. But these are the features which you can find in the community as well as enterprise, like workflow executions, community plugins, standardization of IT workflow executions, key and password encryption, basic ops scheduling for tasks, job activity log, and key storage. So these are the features you have in the community, but also you have in enterprise. Okay, so yes, probably many points probably it not make sense, it not make sense for you because you are just starting the Rundeck. But yeah, over the period of time, once you get well versed with the community, and then we will go into the enterprise, then you see the huge difference, and accordingly you can experience it. Okay, now there's some difference between the cloud and enterprise also. And whereas like I would say like 99% of the enterprise is features you can find in the cloud. Some of the features you can't find in the cloud, which is like a access control and the job executions and stuff like that. These plugins which you have on my screen, which you can see, you won't find in the cloud version. Okay, these are only made for the enterprise. Okay, so at the high level, yes, I just wanted to give you a glance of the differences between the community version versus enterprise versus cloud. But yeah, right now you don't have to remember this thing. Over the period of time, once you start using it, and then you will start finding a features which is available in enterprise, but not in community. That the place you can decide which one to use it. By the way, my questions: which Rundeck version you guys are using in your production in your operations team? Is a community or enterprise? Hello?
Rajesh, we about to implement, still not decided actually.
Okay. What about Gerald? Which one you're using? Is it community or enterprise?
Community.
Okay. So yeah, so start with the community, and after that, once you start seeing the limitation of it, then go ahead with the enterprise, and you get a trial period also for a few days. And after that, you can see that, and then you can convince your project management to buy the enterprise one.
Yeah.
Or probably cloud also. Okay, so who is using Rundeck? So many companies. Okay, some of these are here. Okay. So now you want to know the popular use cases of Rundeck. So use cases are very important. Please focus on it here. Like someone will ask you, hey, how can we use the Rundeck? For what are the scenarios we can use the Rundeck? Tell me 2 or 3 scenarios where the Rundeck is suitable more than other tools. So this is the very important topic. Okay. So yep, some of the places where Rundeck is very useful, such as OpenStack management. OpenStack management, OpenStack, that is like to create a private cloud platform. Okay, so can be used. You can use the Rundeck for it. You can also use the Rundeck for reporting on the cloud. That means the cloud infrastructure, if you want to have a reports and all, which you can immediately get it without getting access to AWS or Google Cloud. Those kind of things you can get it. Notifications for that also you can use a Rundeck, Hyper-V patching campaign, VM owners, and also like that. Check and verification, for ad hoc check and verification also you can use it, Rundeck. For doing any configuration in the remote servers, you can use the Rundeck. Host management also you can do the Rundeck. Some sort of internal work like auto backup, reload nodes, and stuff like that. Also you can use a Rundeck. This is one more case scenarios where you are managing the private data centers. You can use the Rundeck. Let's have a little bit of visualizations here. See that in the Rundeck you define the jobs. Okay, and the flow is in a Rundeck you define the jobs, and the jobs may be consisting of multiple things like a CI builds and deployment jobs option like artifacts. You send out notifications, and you are executing in the deployment job nodes. All these things you can do that. Let's understand through these different visualizations. Look at this here. Use cases. At a Rundeck, you set up a job which you can schedule the job, any sort of jobs, for the sake of any sort of job. Schedule the job. Rundeck will execute the jobs in the nodes and send the notification to user. So this is like some of the repetitive tasks you can perform here. Any repetitive task. I'm not saying like what kind of repetitive task. Any task which you do twice, thrice is repetitive. It's a task. It's a manual task. So you can schedule using the Rundeck. That's a very high level use cases of Rundeck. Okay, Rundeck you can use for the deployment automations also. Okay, zero click or manual trigger. So deployment automations, you may use deployment automations. Let's say some CI tools like Jenkins and any other deployment tool like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, and artifacts you can have in the Artifactory, Nexus. So you can use for automating the deployments also. So here, what is happening? The CI server. Look at the image very carefully. From the CI server, for example, Jenkins will trigger the deployment job at Rundeck. Okay, Rundeck will take the artifacts through the CI server, deploy to the different nodes, execute deployment jobs, and after that you can send the notification to that. So you can use a Rundeck for deployment automation also. There's one more thing. You can also use Rundeck for providing visibility into deployments. That means in the server you have so many things which you have deployed. Like you want to do the patching, hot patches, fellow deployments. You want to do some sort of troubleshooting. So all these things also you can do using Rundeck and get notification. Okay, Rundeck we've been discussing. You can use a self-service dev and QA environment also. So without giving access. So here dev and QA, I need an environment. They will go and Rundeck, create an environment. Let's say creating a new environment like a dev and QA environment. So you can set up a Rundeck. Rundeck will talk to the cloud platform. It can be vCloud, AWS, Terraform, using that Google, Azure DevOps, all these things, and they will create an environment, and then you get the notifications also. So this is also one use cases for Rundeck. You can take it up. Okay, empowering the NOC. Okay, NOC, most of the time when we run the productions and production have certain issues, then all these issues comes to the NOC. So let's say NOC wants to restart some of the service. Okay, so that place also you can use the NOC. NOC you don't have to give any access, but rather you can give that Rundeck console, and they can do restart the work, or define some jobs in the and get notified also to everyone. So this one more things. You can also incorporate Rundeck with your CI/CD process. Okay, so here you can look at this here. You know that Jenkins is a CI tool. They build the software, upload to the, here in this case, upload to the Nexus. So now, Rundeck will take the package from the Nexus and deploy to the different machines as part of the jobs, and that can be done. So multiple use cases can be designed, depends on things. It can also use as a self-service deployment for QA also. So here you do the development from the QA environment to, in a QA itself, you have an integration environment, staging environment, pre-production environment, production you don't have. So you have, these are the environments you have with a QA. So you can use a Rundeck to automate this task. Like if something has been deployed in the one environment, it can be moved to another environment, promoting to another environment, hot fixes, hot patches, and all sorts of that. It can be done using the Rundeck. Okay, so in short, everyone can use Rundeck. Simple. Everyone can use the Rundeck who wants to automate repetitive tasks, who want to automate the manual tasks. Developers can use the Rundeck. QA people can use the Rundeck. Operations team can use the Rundeck, but at a high level, to begin with, most of the time operations team use the Rundeck a lot. But anyone can use the Rundeck. Why? Because in the Rundeck, you can create a jobs. A jobs will be execute in any jobs. And jobs will execute in the remote machines. And whatever you want to do, it can be done the dev QA operations. Anyone can use the Rundeck. Notifications also you want. So use cases pretty vast. Let me run it one more time to understand that. Rundeck you can use for scheduling any jobs, running any jobs, get notification. Rundeck you can do for the deployment automations. Rundeck you can use for the visibility, to get understanding, to get the knowledge of the deployment servers also. Rundeck you can use for any sort of dev and QA self-service environment also. Rundeck you can use for NOC also. Rundeck you can use for integrating with the CI and CD also. Rundeck you can use for the self-service deployment for QA also. Rundeck, everyone can use the Rundeck for their own task. So are you having the fair visibility about the Rundeck use cases? All of you? All of you?
Yes, Rajesh, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, we are planning to use the Rundeck to automate the manual things which done by the development team. In the sense, suppose we have already few of the things running in the C# applications. Actually, let's say we'll be getting from the one of the file in the email or in the SFTP site. So these are all the things which we automated using the C# application actually. So reading the file from the Outlook and loading into the table actually, or else picking the file from SFTP site, loading into the table and applying the downstream process as per the business need, and sending the acknowledged email to the client. So these are all the things happen using the totally C#. So now our management was expecting to do all the things in the Rundeck. So I was just curious to know whether these all the things it would be possible or not.
Yes, anything. In simple way, if I say, you're a dev, you're a QA, you're operations. You want to manage the dev infrastructure, QA infrastructure, or pre-production or production infrastructure. You are in a cloud or off cloud. You are using any sort of script like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, Terraform, or Bash script or Windows script. The only criteria is you can use a Rundeck for all these scenarios without replacing the existing infrastructure. Why? Because you want the centralizations of this activity. That means everyone should be having only one platform, which is self-service, to do any kind of work in a dev, QA, and operation environment. That should be done through only one UI, and that who is doing what kind of work, what are the output it has got it, everything should know, and that can be done through the Rundeck. So Rundeck is not a replacement for your tool, but rather than Rundeck will help you to manage the entire executions, entire troubleshooting, entire implementing the patches, entire checks from the one single platform. So you don't have to access any of the server, but still you can do that using Rundeck. That is the motto behind the Rundeck.
Yes, yes.
Make sense?
As per, yes, yes. Now, what I understood is that mostly on the operations perspective, we will be using the Rundeck, right? Operation perspective
Yes.
means suppose we have servers out there, restarting the server or monitoring the disk
Yeah.
space or some other
Yeah.
activity. But other than that, mostly on the development side related jobs, they are planning to integrate into the Rundeck. So I was not sure really that would be
Yeah.
the good idea.
So development, one thing we do a lot in development. That is like creating a development environment for different bug fixes, different features, and different releases. That's a huge task actually. Sometimes it takes 3 days, 4 days also. Okay, that's a manual work. So what Rundeck can be used for automating that task to creating a dev environment. Or let's say QA people also can use Rundeck for for automating their queue operations. For example, they want to deploy initially in the dev environment, sorry, QA environment, in integration, then staging, then smoke. All these things they want to integrate. I mean their products or maybe patching. So all these things QA also can use it for that operation. Anyways, we know that we have a visibility for it. So basically, those who wants to automate, understand, please hear me out. Anyone who wants to automate the repetitive task, okay, repetitive task, they can use the Rundeck. Anyone, dev, QA, and operations. Now,
Okay.
here advantage of Rundeck is like for entire team, there is only one console for accessing the entire infrastructure and without compromising the security. That means if I ask you, hey, you log into the dev team, dev server, and you do X number of things. And then I insert some QA people also, you log into QA server, and same thing with the operations. Here, you have to share your login. Here you have to share the credentials. And who's doing what? You have no visibility. But using Rundeck, you are not sharing the credentials. At the same time, who's doing what? You get a proper auditing of everything. And same time, the team can use all this feature Rundeck platform to save their time for doing the troubleshooting, to minimize the resolution to the incident, and to have a to working as a team. So all these things will come along with the Rundeck. Are you understanding?
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, Raj, another question is that I given the example, right? Basically, now everything was doing using the C# Windows application, Windows service, or some kind of console application and scheduling the things. So now whether it same thing, is it possible in the Rundeck using the C#?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Okay, we can use the C# also in Rundeck.
Yes. Runtime, if runtime is C#, probably using the PowerShell script, you can run it, no problem. Ultimately, C# command you want to run through PowerShell script, right?
Okay, no, I mean to say the code itself, we can write in Rundeck or not, the C# code itself to write the scripts.
Okay, so here, see, the fundamental we need to understand. You can write literally in any script. That's not a problem. Literally, you can write in any languages, any script. The question is the place where you are running, that is supported or not. So you can write basically anything: Ansible, Terraform, C#, Python, Perl, Java, Bash script, Shell script, PowerShell, anything you write. But the question is, if you run the PowerShell in a Linux node, you will not make any sense, correct?
Yes.
Getting my points? Yeah, so like that.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, that's a wrong statement, because last year I read that PowerShell you can run in the Linux server also. There's some layers for it actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, C#, if you're running in that node where the C# is set in the path, the executable is set in the path for C#, you can run it.
Okay.
Okay. So now what is the architecture? So here, look at this here. Rundeck, typically we can access through the HTTPS or API both. You can see the arrow. And Rundeck needs the RDBMS. Okay, Rundeck needs RDBMS. So Rundeck, which is a web front, connect to the database, and file store we have for the logs, auditing records and all. Rundeck can connect with a user directory like LDAP and Active Directory, and also Rundeck can also external data provider like S. So this one, the list of supported database and all, I'll discuss in a little bit of time. List of files stored, basically, what I can recall is like 2 file store is supported. One is a local file system, and another one is a AWS S3. User directory, LDAP, Active Directory, and all very much supported. Now, Rundeck is running on the admin node, okay, and all the Rundeck CLI tools also you can find in the admin node to manage the Rundeck server. Now remember that any automation you perform, any automation, any jobs, any work flows you create, that runs in the remote nodes. Okay. Like for example, some commands you want to run, so that is running the remote nodes. So this is the overall architecture. So here you can see Rundeck, this is the central part which is designed in Java and Grail 3, and the database, it can be MySQL or Oracle, Postgres, and all stuff like that. File system as I discussed. I'll discuss in detail a little bit, but at high level. Okay. Now this is the architecture of Pro. Pro means the enterprise version. Okay. Something similar which we have. See that RDB, log store, source model, and all stuff like that. So this is the architecture. This is the cloud architecture. Okay. So cloud, you don't have to install database, you don't have to install Rundeck, anything. You just have to access it and access that cloud version of it, and then you start creating a workflows, script, commands, plugins, whatever it is. Okay, and get it done. So next question is how Rundeck works. So look at this here. If you look at this here, Rundeck can be accessible by web UI, API, plugins, and CLI. At a Rundeck, you can create workflows, aka jobs. You can run a script or without scripts, some API tools and command. At the overall, Rundeck have authentications, login, role-based access control, and secret management. Secret management means you can store the password and certificate at a Rundeck. Now, how do you trigger the Rundeck? So if you see the left side, triggering the Rundeck, it can be done through some tickets, some incident from some other tools like a PagerDuty or let's say Jira or some stuff like that. Okay, it can be scheduled also and done. So this is the sum. Now, what kind of problems you can perform through the Rundeck? So it's a simple one which we have discussed already. You can restart the server, or maybe you can fetch the logs. You can open, close, update the tickets through Rundeck. You can provision the infrastructure like whole dev server or app server, for dev server or QA servers and stuff like that. You can do the patching. You can do the failover systems. That means if some of the systems got failed, you can correct the stuff and do the things. So this is how you can use this. So now, what are the terminologies we use in the Rundeck? So primarily we have a projects, jobs, executions, and plugins. So what is a project? So project is basically a root level element. Okay. So that means in a simple way, if I say, if you go to the Rundeck, you have to create a project. Simple. A project. Inside the project, you have a job. And the job, the moment you run the job, is become an execution. And plugins, if you want to extend the features of Rundeck, you can use the plugins. So now projects, we understand is a root level component of Rundeck. You have to create a project. Inside that, you create a jobs, and jobs is nothing but a sequence of steps. Now, what is steps? Steps like copying the files, running some commands, running some scripts, doing something. Okay, something, restarting the services. This is like a jobs, the steps. So jobs will have a multiple steps, and remember, jobs will run against the node and then executions and plugins. So this is the high level concept which we have in the Rundeck. So let's little bit discuss about the Rundeck projects. So a Rundeck project is a place to separate management activity. All Rundeck activities occur within the context of project. Understand that. All Rundeck activity occurs within the context of project. That means anything you want to do through the Rundeck, you have to do it using the project. Multiple projects can be maintained on the same Rundeck server. You can create a multiple projects. Third point, which is very important, projects are independent from one another. Important. So you can use them to organize unrelated system within a single Rundeck installation. That means single installation of Rundeck, you can use multiple projects. And each project is independent of one another. Please understand that. It's an important statement. Projects can be useful for managing different teams, infrastructure, environment, and application. That means, let's say you have an organization, say you have 4 projects, and each project they have their own teams. And each project they have their own infrastructure, like a dev server, app server, and production server, and different kind of environment and applications. Using the project, you can isolate basically this stuff. That means if you have 4 projects, 4 teams, 4 infrastructure, 4 each project, you have a different environments and applications, you should create a project. So basically projects create isolations, an easy way to manage the different teams, infrastructure, environment, and applications. Last point, projects can be archived and imported to other Rundeck server to help promote changes between the environments. So these are the special characteristics what we have about the Rundeck project. In a simple way, if you go to the Rundeck, log into the Rundeck, you have to create a project to manage your team, infrastructure, environments, and applications. Are you understanding my here?
Yes.
Now, next thing, under the projects, what you have? Jobs. Yeah. So you created a project. I'll show you the demo. Just give me some more time. You created a project, and inside that you have to create a jobs. What is job? So jobs provide a means to encapsulate a process. A process can be running some script, running some commands, copying some files, or stuff like that. So jobs is a configuration representing input options. Input option means have you done something like run some script, but based on the parameters? Typically we do in the forms, right? We write this, feed this form, this input, and then based on that execute some script. Or maybe in a Linux, if I put it up, if you put the Linux script space $1, $2, $3 like that options. Do you remember that? All of you? Options? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Grell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, what I'm saying, jobs can be parameterized. So that means you can configure the job to provide the input options.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.